this is Naveen here. Welcome back to Naveen Automation Labs and back to our test rigor. So in the last video, we have seen a couple of basic stuff, that how to prepare a script and then how to write multiple test cases and then how to execute that. Today, we are going to talk about how to perform data-driven testing with testRigor, and it's amazing feature available in testRigor. You can upload the data with the help of CSV file. You can create your own script data also. You can create that, and then how to use so that we don't need to write the same thing again and again. So let's see how to do that. So I'm going to log into my testRigor account, and what I'll do after that, I'm just you can see this is my login page. I'm going to create new folder. Also you can create that. So let's say I'm going to create a new folder, and the folder name that I'm going to rename, for example, we are going to do some data driven test over here. Okay, so this is my data driven test folder I have created, and under this particular folder that I'm going to create a new suite over here. So let's see, my suite name that I'm going to write today is we are going to use this particular application. So first we will try to fill some data over here in the registration form. See this entire registration form. Here you can see some text fields are there, some drop downs also there. So today I'll show you that how to fill the drop down, which keyword you have to use that, and for the radio button also, for checkbox also. Then we will click on continue, and then we will verify that this account got created for this particular user or not. Right? Interesting. So I'll do one thing. I'll land on this particular page directly from here, and this is my URL to run. So just enter the URL here. Username, password, just ignore it. Operating system, I'm going to use Windows, and then I don't want to generate any predefined test cases. So simple, make it 0 and click on create test suite. When you click on create test suite, it's saying the name is important. So I'm going to give a name here, that OpenCart demo app test suite, something like this I have given. Nice name. Click on create test suite. When you click on create test suite, you can see that the test suite got created, and in fact you can again go back and then you can check it from here also. So here you can see that open demo card suite got created. What you can do, if you really want to move it to your folder, you can just move it over here. See, this just drag it over here like this. So now it's available under this particular folder. You can just open that. This is a folder. You can see that this is available actually on the Windows, and then the date, and then you can see that this is the current status. Right now we have 0 pass because we have not written anything here. Now I'll just simply click on it, and then we will come inside this particular test suite. Now under this test suite, we can create multiple test cases. So see this carefully. That is the first basic script that I'm going to write here. Let's see, add custom test case, and I have to do the registration. So I'm going to write registration a test with a data driven, and then this is the page first time we will see, and then I really want to enter some value over here in the first name field. So we know that how to enter the value. So I'm going to write a simple hard-coded value right now. Let's see, enter what exactly you want to enter. So for example, let's say I want to enter Naveen @ or let's say this is my first name Naveen, into where? Into this particular field, right? So Naveen, this field, and let's say I want to enter, let's pick one more, last name also I want to enter. So I'll say okay, fine, this is last name. So let's see, I'm writing my last name, let's see K, or let's see automation I'm writing. So this is the last name, and into this particular field, right? Make sure this is a field name. Okay guys, first name is the field name, last name is the field name or the label name that you have taken from here, and this first name, last name, the data that you want to enter. So this is my test data actually. Let's see till here it's working or not. So let me quickly add and run, and here you can see that test got started. Your tests are being executed. If you really want to see that, you can just simply click on it. You can see it's in queue, and then few seconds, within few seconds it will start the test. So here you can see that test got started. You can see that the first page got opened, the registration page, and then after a registration page you can see the value got entered over here. Can you see that? See this Naveen automation got entered over here. See, okay. So but this is the hard-coded data, or the data that what if tomorrow I want to change the data. So in that case, that again we have to come over here, and then again we have to use it, and then again we have to update the data, and then let's see the same data I want to use for some other test case also. So in that case, this is a hard-coded value that I have used here. So what if I want to maintain some test data? So in that case, how to use that? So I have to maintain some test data variables. So for that, they have given one option that is called test data. So every test suite will be having this test data option. You simply click on it, and then you can create two types of variables here. One is global test data variable and another one is data set. So we will see both. So global variables, generally we use it for any global environment variables or any global configuration variables like the URL or any specific product ID, user ID, customer ID that you really want to store. Let's see, any database connection values that you want to store in the global variables, you can use that. And then data set is specifically like the number of rows that you want to create, just like we create in the Excel sheet or CSV file. Same thing, you can do it over here. But let's see first global variables. So for global variables, what you can do, you can just simply click on add, and then what kind of variable that you have. So for example, let's say I'm going to create number of variables. Let's say I want to enter first name, last name, email, telephone, right? All these important mandatory fields, let's say I want to enter. So I'm just going to maintain all these global variables here one by one. So here you can see that three types of variables you can add: text, hidden, and file. So let's see, this is my text file. What is a variable name? The variable name, I'll be following, let's see, all the lower letter or small letter convention over here, that is I'm going to follow. So what is the value? So let's say I'm going to enter the value that, okay, take this name Naveen. So that is the value and this is the variable name. So simple click on add. Then I'm going to create one more variable over here. Let's see, again the text value that I'm going to enter, that is last name, and then the value will be, let's see, AutomationLabs over here. Simple add it over here. So you can see that I'm going to create variable first name, then last name. Then let's say I want to enter I want to enter password also, right? So how will you enter the password? So again you click on add, and then let's see, for password I really want to make it hidden, so you can simply select hidden here, and then variable name will be password. Okay, and then let's see, my password SE, it will not be visible to you. I'm writing something test@123 is the password, and then you click on add over here. So here first name, last name, password, these three things that I have added, right? Now I'll do one thing. Let me just right click on it, open a new tab so that it will be visible for you guys properly, so that I don't need to navigate from one tab to another, one page to another page here. So I'll go to this particular tab, and then here you can see this is my test. I'm going to update this particular test once again. See, right now this is a hard-coded value that I have written Naveen, but I want to pick this particular data. This Naveen actually is coming from here. See, this is Naveen actually. I want to pick this, and this is a variable name. So how to use this variable name in your script? So what you have to do, remove this guy from here. What you just write, you have to write one keyword here that is called stored value keyword, and then what is a variable name in your global variable that you have declared. So in my global variable I have declared this is a first name. So what exactly testRigor will do, it will automatically pick this particular name Naveen from here and then into this particular first name. So this is the first name, is a field name on the UI. Remember, don't get confused between this and this. That's why I'm taking the small letter case here so that we can differentiate. This is my global data variable in testRigor, and this is what the UI element which is available on the page. Same thing, that what exactly the next value that you want to enter. I'll say, okay, fine, this is my stored value. Which is stored value? That is the last name that I want to enter. So here you can see that we have last name AutomationLabs will be picked. Then I want to enter the password here. So in that case, what exactly you will do? Let's see, just password also stored value password. And into which field? Into this particular field. So here they see this is capital P. So whatever it's written, you have to pick the same one and then into this particular field. Let's see, password. Will this work? Let's see. So update and reset once again. So let's see, it is entering the first name, last name from the global variables or not. Okay, so test got started. It's actually under in queue. You can see it's in queue in progress. From here you can see that. And it takes few seconds to launch the browser and everything. Browser is already launched here. You can see that. And then yeah, test got started, and see it's saying that can you see the password is actually got entered over here? See this? I hope you can see that here. See, this password got entered over here. So in this case, the password got entered. It means that's absolutely working fine, right? And then you can see the more details here. You can see the password will be visible. You can see your test data, the first name, last name, AutomationLabs password here like this. Perfect. So test is again got passed here. So like this, what exactly I'm going to do that I'm going to create number of variables according to this particular form. So let's quickly do that. So I'm going to maintain last name, email, telephone. Okay, so let's create quickly email and telephone also. So click on add, and then I'm going to write email, and the email value I'm going to write, let's see, test Naveen automation rigor @gmail.com. Okay, click on add. Then after that I want to create one telephone. So let's see, the variable name is telephone, and then the telephone is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, that also got created. Then after that I want to maintain address, city, and postcode. So let's quickly do that as well. So this is my address 1 variable. Address 1, let's see, I simple say 10 comma New Vihar, New Delhi, something like this. Let's see, I'll just create that. Click on add, and then email and telephone got created, and okay, address 1 is also got created. Then I'm going to write city and postcode. So let's quickly do that as well. So it will start creating the pagination. You can see address 1 is actually available here. Then I'm going to create city. The city is see the what value of the city that you want to select, because city will be entered over here. So let's say I'm writing the city as Delhi over here. Okay, click on add. After that, what you have after city, you have postcode. Postcode also you can just add that. So let's see, this is my postcode, and then something 2020021 is the postcode, for example. The postcode got added. After postcode, I'm just talking about only mandatory fields. Country and the state also you have to select. See, this country now you have to select from the drop down. So I'll show you which keyword you have to use, but I just want to maintain that test data right now. So let's see, I'm just going to create, this is the country, everything is small letter, and the country value that you want to select, the value you will be selected from here. For example, let's say I want to select India. So this is the I capital India that I have to select here. So the value will be India. Add that, and then after that you have to select the state. The state is let's see, what is the value of the state for let's say I want to select New Delhi. So let's see, this is a Delhi that I have to select over here. Okay, so let's see this, the value will be Delhi. From the drop down we have to select. So click on add. What else? Let's see, you want to enter password that we have already taken, and same password we will be entering inside the confirm password also. Okay, so let's see, these are the things that I really want to enter, and then you can see that the data is actually available here in multiple variables that we have created. Now I go back to my script, and then I'm going to edit my test case over here, and then I'm going to enter all the fields one by one. So here you can see first name, last name that we have already entered. First name, last name, then email, telephone, address 1, address 2, everything that I'm going to enter over here. So what you just need to do, you just need to copy this, and then after that enter what? The next is that enter email into which field, and then here you have to maintain the field that is available on the UI. The UI field is email over here, right? So it's very straightforward, email. So likewise you have to create all these lines for all the different fields, right? So I'll do one thing, I'll just quickly create it, and then I'll just write it for you guys. Okay, so here you can see that I have entered email into email, telephone into this. So the first variable, first name, last name, email, telephone, address 1, they all are coming from where? They all are coming from these variables, right? And then these are the text field variables. Into, after into mean these are my text field variables. Now see this carefully. For country, what you have to do, because country is a drop down. Okay, see, this country is a drop down. I want to select India. So in testRigor, in your test step, what will you write? You have to write that select stored value. So for enter means entering the value in the text field, and then here you have to select India from the drop down. So you have to write select same value, stored value, from which variable? Country variable, from which drop down. So from drop down country you have to write here. Remember this. Okay, so this will be the syntax for the country. After that we have to select region, state. So here you can see that it is also a drop down. So we have to select Delhi. So how will you write? Same thing. Select stored value from state. State is coming from where? State is coming from this particular variable. Here you can see that the state is available here. The state means Delhi. Select Delhi from where? Select Delhi from the drop down region state, from this particular drop down UI element, and then after that password into password field, and the same password into password confirm field. Okay, you can just remove this guy from here now. Perfect. So this is what you have to write. After that, what we have to select the radio button. So for radio button, what you have to do, for radio button, we have to do what? We have to do a click operation, right? So same operation, you have to write it here, that click, what? Click checkbox also you can write it, but it's a radio button. So you have to write radio button, actually not a checkbox. Checkbox example also I'll show you. Which checkbox? So this is called 0 checkbox and this is called 1 checkbox. See what you do, you right click on it and go to inspect. And here whatever the HTML value is written, see value is written 1 and then this is the value is equal to 0. You can see that. So you can just pass the direct value over here. So what you can do, this is represented by 0 and this is represented by 1. So you can directly write check yes or check no, or you can pass the index also. So for example, click radio button, what? I'm saying click radio button, the first one means the 0th one, right? But where you 0th one from where? So if specifically position you want to give, you can see that, okay, for subscribe, it means this radio button after subscribe, right? It means the left hand, or sorry, right hand side of subscribe. So this is left hand side and this is right hand side. So what you can do, that click radio button 0, right side of subscribe. That is what you have to write. So I'm saying click radio button right of, simple, write this keyword right of what? Right of subscribe. That's it. Also, okay, so it will click on that particular yes subscribe. If you say 1, it will select 1. If you say yes, it will select yes also. So let's say I'm passing 0 over here. Then after that, what we have to do, we have one checkbox also here. You can see checkbox which is next to privacy policy. So what you can do, again it's a click operation. See, this is dot click like this. Same thing here, that you have to write click what? A checkbox, not a radio button, which is actually available where? Which is actually available the right of what? The right of privacy policy text. See, this is right of the right side of privacy policy. So I'm going to write the right of privacy policy like this, actually P capital. Okay, fine. So check right box of privacy policy. After that, what you have to do, after that you have to click on continue button. So let's click on continue button. So I'm writing click continue. That's it. You can write click on continue, which is also fine, or simple say click continue. And then see, this is a test case that you have to write. So now you have to check that the user got created successfully or not. So let's say I'm just going to enter some dummy data over here. For example, let's say I'm writing something like this and 1212 here, and then the email ID that I'm writing over here like this, and some password I'm writing. Okay, so password is test123 and the password is test123. So manually first I fill and then click on continue, and then you will see it will give you one message if the user got created successfully. It's saying, the message is saying that your account has been created. I want to validate this particular message here. How will you validate that? So after clicking on continue, you can simply write that check that page contains what? The contains one text here and then this one. So your account has been created. So like this, you can just simply use this and then update and reset. Okay, so we will do that. But see, it's a very straightforward, very nice, clean script, no hard code value, nothing. Tomorrow you want to change any data, you can just simply come over here and then anyone can change the data and then they can perform the testing there. So let's say I'm going to run it and let's see it's working or not. So update and reset. So here you can see is still in queue. Okay, so here you can see that it got started and see it's quickly working on it, and finally clicking on continue. I'll show you all the screenshots also, and then it's checking that page contains your account has been created or not. Perfect. Let's see it's entering all the values. First of all, let's see all the test data. Click on more details and then you will see that password and the confirm password is coming in this. It is hidden password. It will not show you, so no one can check the password while seeing the execution. And you can see that yeah, all the steps are actually working fine. Here you can see that, can you see that Delhi from the drop down, password, city, country from India, India from country got selected over here. That's absolutely fine. Okay, then let's close this and then let's see some more things. Then after that you can check it over here, that confirm password and the yes radio button also got selected, and then after that it's selecting the checkbox. Click checkbox right of the policy, the privacy policy. So here you can see it's selecting, it's highlighting also like this, and then after that it's saying that click on continue. So here you can see it's clicking on continue with the border also, it will highlight over here. And then after that it's checking after clicking on continue this particular error, I mean the confirmation message is coming or not, the successful message, your account has been created or not. And it's absolutely created. It means once everything is fine, it will show you the test is actually got passed over here, which is absolutely fine here. So what we have seen that we are actually picking the data from where? From the global variables. We are not picking the data from the data sets. You can pick the data from the data sets also. That also I'll show you. Perfect. So this is absolutely working fine. You can pick and you can create any variable in the global variable section, and then you can use it in your script whenever it's required now. And this is the script. It will look like this. Such a clean and neat script that we have written. So likewise, you can create n number of test cases like that. Now the question here is that, for example, let's see, again you go back to the, for example, let's see, let me log out. And you click on login. Now the question here is that what if you want to enter different username, different password, right? Generally we do that, right? But what if we have 5 username, 5 password that I want to enter, or 5 different data I want to enter in the registration form for 5 different users. So now this is called a data driven approach that we have to use with the help of some CSV file or maybe some data that we are using it, and multiple test data that I want to use for the same test case. It means, let's see, if I have 5 rows in my Excel sheet in my CSV file, it means 5 times the same test case should be executed, just like we do it in our typical automation framework in Selenium also. So can we do something like this here? Yes, that also we can do that. So let's see how to do this. So for this, what you have to do here is that we have to create another test over here. So this is for the registration test. Now I'm going to create a separate login test once again. Okay, so let's create that. So I'm writing, this is my login data driven test, something like this. And then I'm going to enter the script over here first of all. So we have to enter email address here. Okay, so let's create that. So I'm going to write enter whatever the email address will be there into this particular field, right? And then we have to use what? We have to use stored value, and then whatever the variable name, right, in the variable section that we are going to create in the test variable section, that also we will be using it here. So I'm writing it simple blank over here. Okay, so let's write some value, remove this stored value from here. Let's see the first script is actually working fine or not. So I'm writing, let's see, Naveen1@gmail.com, and then I'm saying that enter some password, let's see, test123 into where? Into password field. So you can simply check that this is my password field, right? Okay, so password field. After that, I have to click on login button. So see this, there are 3 login elements are there. This is also login, this is also login, and this is also login. So we have to specifically tell, otherwise what will happen if we simply say click login, it will actually click on it the moment it finds the first login, because from the top it's actually finding the first login here. So we have to explicitly tell that click on that login which is actually below forgotten password or below password, like this. So let's say I'm going to say that click where? Click on login below where? Below password, so that it will actually find that specific position below password, and then it will work fine. So let's see, obviously this username password is wrong. So after clicking on login, it will give you some error message, but let's see actually handling these 3 elements or not. So click on add and run. Okay, so here you can see that see the problem here is this test will be failed. Why? Because see, if you see this particular, let me just cancel this. If you see this, it's actually starting from here, from the login page. But in the test suite, what exactly, see if you go to the test suite, this is the URL that we are starting from the registration form, right? From the registration page. So what you have to do in the test case, you have to add one more extra step over here. So let's come here, edit test case. It means we have to explicitly tell that, see, initially we started from where? Initially we started from here. So either you go to the login, so you simply say that, okay, fine, you click on login, right? So, or we can do one thing, from the login we can start the test case. So this is my URL, and what you can do is that, see this, you can just add one extra step over here. You simply write open URL, and what is the URL? This one. So this is another keyword that you can use it in testRigor to open the URL. Now again, update and reset. Let's see this time it's working fine or not. Okay, good that okay, we found this particular use case as well. So you can just simply refresh it once. It takes few seconds to launch the browser. So now here, yeah, absolutely working fine. See, it started from the registration. After that, open URL. It means go to the login page, and then see this, the login page got started. Perfect. And then after that, enter the username password that we have entered over here. You can see test1 and this one, and click on login, which is below password. See, it will give you this yellow highlighted area also. So whenever you're writing above, below, near, these kind of keywords, left or right, it will always give you the yellow highlighted area as well, that this is the boundary. This is the login as actually below password. So like this, it will show you in the screenshot. And then after that, obviously, when we click on this login button, this is a message over here that this is the wrong username password, which is fine, that we are not bothered about it right now. Now let's see, this is the data we have used here. This is a hard-coded data. Fine. You can see naveen1@gmail.com and test123. Now the same data that I want to enter from my variable part, from the test data part. So what will you do? Again, you click on test data. Okay. And then after that, instead of global variable, this time I'm going to use data sets here. So click on data sets, and then you can create a data set. So first it will ask you, what is your data set name? It means this data that you are using, what is the purpose of that data? So purpose of that data, let's say this is my login test data, something like this I'm going to use. Write a nice name with the proper description if you want to write it. This is used for form. Okay, and click on add. And then after that, it's saying you have to add the variables. So two variables will participate. Again, variable you can create it. So let's say I'm writing, this is my email ID variable. Add it. And then I'm going to add one more variable. That is the hidden for the password. I don't want to highlight the password to anyone. Simple click on add. So you can see email ID and the password. These two variables got created. Now the data will be stored inside the row section. So what will you do? Now you can create multiple rows here. So simply click on rows. And then it's simple saying that click on add and add row. So you can create one row here. So let's see, this is a row number 1 that I'm going to use. Let's see row number, any row that you want to write. Let's see, this is my first row. I'm going to write row number first. Description also you can write it. Let's see, correct username, correct password or something like this, that also you can write it. And then by default, it will take your initially your testRigor username password. So I don't want to use this one. I want to use something else. Let's see, I'm going to use this one. And then the password I'm going to use test123. So naveen1@gmail.com and click on add. You can see first row, the data got created here like this. Now I want to create one more row. So you can delete the row also if you want that. And then let's create one more row, add row once again. And let's see, I'm saying this is the second row. And then in the second row, I'm saying this is, I'll write it like this. This is naveen2@gmail.com. And password I'm writing, let's see, test@12345. So here you can see that the second row also got created, and you can see that the data for the second row. So this is the first row name, and this is the second row name. You want to rename, you can rename also like this. You can really want to search row name. Let's see what is the data for second row. So it will give you the row data for that specific row. Perfect. Now let's say I want to create one more row. So let's see, this is the third row that I'm going to create. Row name could be anything. Okay, let's see, this is the third row, and then I'm going to use that is naveen3@gmail.com, and the password something like this. I have added a new password here. So 3 rows I have created. You can just see this first row, second row, third row, and every row is having the respective data like this. So this is just like we have one Excel sheet, and then Excel sheet we have 3 rows, 1, 2 and 3, and then every row is having 2 data like email ID and password. So these are my columns actually. Perfect. So this is like this. Now what will you do? The data got created. Again, you go back to data sets, and then the entire row will be added to login test data, right? So what will you do? You simply come over here, and then you have to remove the hard-coded value from here first of all, and then same keyword you have to write, entered stored value you have to write, and then what is the variable name? The variable name that we have taken, you click on it, and then variable name that we have taken, email ID. This is the variable name that we have to enter, email ID. Same thing for this guy also, entered stored value, which is stored value, that is a password this time. So here you can see this is the password field, and I'm going to use password here into password to the text field on the web page, and then click login below password. So for the login button, we don't need to have the test data for that. Okay, and then after that you don't run it, simple validate and then save it. Okay, so this is what the information got updated. Then we have an option here that is called link dataset. Can you see this link dataset here? Click on it, and then you have to link that particular dataset here. So see, login test data, you have to link. It's saying 2 variable and 3 groups. It means we have 2 variables and 3 rows are there, 3 groups are there, right? So it is just like 2 columns and then 3 rows are there. Click on link over here. So what will happen? This login test data will be mapped over here, you can see, with this particular test, and then you try to run it again. So let's see, click on retest. So let's see how many times the same test will be executed. The same test will be executed 2 times, because 3 times. Why? Because we have 3 different set of data we have used. You can simply see number of rows are there, 3 rows are there, row number 1st, 2nd and 3rd. So 3 times with different test data. First time naveen1@gmail.com, naveen2@gmail.com, and then naveen3@gmail.com. The test will be triggered. So here you can see this is absolutely working fine. You can see that naveen1@gmail.com, right? And then the execution is happening, and then it will say that dataset row. If you really want to see what happened to the second row, then see, you click on second, and then the data will be, the screenshot will be shown over here, and then you can verify. See, this is test2@gmail.com. Perfect. And then same thing, let's see for test number 3. That's for the 3rd row, and let's see, Naveen3 should be displayed over here. Oh, sorry. Next one, we can just see this. You can see that Naveen3@gmail.com shown over here like this. Perfect. So this is also absolutely working fine. So this is such an amazing feature available in testRigor, guys. So same test is actually running, this login data driven test is actually running with 3 different rows. You just need to link the data, the test data over here, login test data. You want to unlink, you can just unlink. Tomorrow you want to have one more test data link, you can just attach over here. Okay, so let's see, this is the data we have written here directly here like this, number of rows that we have created here like this. Now what you can do is that, again, go back to test data. You can click on data sets once again, or let's come from here, test data once again, click on data sets, and then after that you click on add once again. Give a new test data, new data set that I'm going to add. For example, let's see the new data set I'm going to write app CSV data. This is a CSV data that I want to add. Same description, let's see I have written, click on add. And this time again you have to create the variables. So let's create the variables. So I'm going to create the variable something like this, or let's forget about the variable. You simply directly go to rows over here and then click on add. And then now you can upload the CSV also. So if you don't want to create directly on the web page, you can directly upload the data, upload CSV. So let's click on upload CSV, and it's saying it's a very simple format. You can browse the CSV from here. It's saying that column headers is equal to variables and the rows equal to values. It means the variable name will be picked automatically, whatever the number of column headers in your CSV file that you have taken, and then the rows will be the values. So let's see, if you have written 1 to 100 rows, and then the first row is the column value. So column value will be converted into variable in the script, and then the number of rows 2 to 100 that you have written will be converted as a value over here. And then it's saying for the best result format, your CSV file before import, the number of test rows created will be equal to the largest number of values imported that you have. Okay, so let's see. So I'm going to create one CSV file here, and then we will save this file with, so here you can see that this is the Excel file, and let me just see this. You can write any sheet name. So let's say this is my login sheet, and then I'm saying that this is my email ID and this is the password that I'm going to use. And then I'm going to write some data here. So let's see, I'm writing, this is my Naveen, this time I'm saying 101 @ and then the password that I'm going to use, this is my test123 is the password. So likewise, what I'm going to do that, I'm going to create multiple sets over here like this, that I'm going to use it here. Perfect. So this will become, these two columns will become the variable name, and you simple save it with the nice name. So for example, let's see, I'm going to save it. I'm going to save, this is my app open card data, and then you have to save it with the CSV file, guys, not Excel file. So here you can see this is a CSV file option. You can get it from here. You can see comma separated values. So simple save this file and save it. So this is now a CSV file. Perfect. Now after that, go back to your upload a CSV option here. Go to documents, and then under documents you can see app opencard.data.csv. Open that, and let's see, click on continue to filtering, and here you can see that nice. And which column that you want to add, you want to use all the columns or any specific columns. So now you can see that you can select, in this particular Excel sheet I have email ID, password. Tomorrow you have multiple columns also, so you can decide after uploading that which column that you want. You want all columns, so all columns will be selected. You want any specific column, let's say I want to use only email, you can select the email also, right? And then use all columns. This file is having header, yes, it's having header. So first will be taken automatically as a column value, will be taken as a variable value, and after that you click on continue, and then after that continue to preview, import now. Okay, so nice, that's so awesome. You can see that 0, 1, 2 and then 3. How many rows are there? First row, second row, third row and fourth row. Same thing, you can see that I have 4 rows here. 1, 2, 3 and 4 rows are there. You can see the respective data also will be visible here. Perfect. And then you can see the two variables, email ID and the password, both automatically got created from here like this. Perfect. Now what exactly I'm going to do, that now I'm going to run my test cases against what? So come back over here and again click on edit test case. Do we need to edit something here? So the same email ID password variable that we are going to use it here, you can check that. Yeah, email ID password from, okay, so see, I'll show you once again. Go back to test data and then go to data sets here. Which data set that we are going to use? We are going to use app CSV data. So in app CSV data, email ID and the password, that these are the two variables that we have created. Same email ID and the password that we are going to use. Click on validate and save. But see this is the new link, we have to do that. This is the old data set that we have linked here. So now we have to see, now we have app CSV data, so you have to link with this guy. And then you can see 2 variables and 4 groups are there. It means 2 columns and 4 rows are there. Exactly same thing, 2 columns and 4 rows are there. Perfect. And then after that you click on close. When you click on close, and then you try to rerun it. Now you can see that all the 4 rows are available here in this particular drop down. You can check any of them. So let's see what is happening with the second set. See, second test is still executing, third set is still getting executed, and then fourth set is also getting executed. So you can check any of them from here. So let's see what happened from the first set, naveen101@gmail.com, for the 0th row, for the first row. Here you can see that, yeah, see, Naveen101 got entered over here without any fail. Perfect. You can check any of them. Let's see what happened with Naveen104. See, the data that we have entered, the same data will be entered over here. We have not written this particular data in the testRigor CSV entry. Everything we have imported from the CSV file. Perfect. So now you can see that Naveen104 got entered here. Yes, see, Naveen104 got entered here. So this is so awesome. And then the same test is actually getting executed for this particular data set row. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times it will be executed with 4 different rows and columns here. 4 different rows here. Perfect. If you really want to execute, let's see, one of them, you really want to check that, okay, fine, what happened with this guy? If you really want to re-execute only a specific row, so what you can do, you simply click on retest combination, and then you can select that for which row that you want to select. Let's say I want to select with Naveen103, I really want to quickly check the data. So click on this Naveen103 and quickly want to see what happened with this test data. Maybe somehow it got failed and you really want to quickly rerun it. Click on run it, and then only specific row will be executed once again. Okay, so you can see this is actually in queue, and you can just refresh this particular page, and then you can just open that, and then you can just check that Naveen103, what happens. See, it is still running, and then once it is executed, it will display the data, and then you can check that this is Naveen103 got entered here. Perfect. So this is how You can easily work with the n number of test data that you can create that, and then you are just about good to go. That's it. That's so amazing, right guys? So like this you can do that. Now let's do one thing. I'll do one thing. I'll just simply select multiple and select all, and then select all the test cases in this particular test suite. Let's see. So I'm going to run it, all the test data from here. I mean all the test cases from here, login test as well as registration test also. And then you can just see that the preview here. See, this is for the login and this is for the registration test. And then you can just simply minimize it so that you can see the tests are running. Actually see 2 tests are running in the parallel mode. And then this first login test is actually running against these number of rows, and the registration test is still, because it's a big test, it is still taking some time to load. You can see it's still in the progress here. By the time this is almost done, and then see registration test also got started here now, and that's so amazing. That's so awesome. You can use it, and then everything is actually available in the form of data driven testing. We have not hard coded anything in the script here. And then this is also absolutely working fine, because you can see that it's saying that check that page contains your account got created successfully or not. Perfect. So this is absolutely working fine. And then after that, if you really want to see the reports, you can see the reports also here. So we have 100% passed. 5 test cases got executed, because 1 is for the registration and 4 for the login. So 4 plus 1 is equal to 5. Please check that. Please try to use the test data driven approach. I mean normal data driven approach with any user form or any registration form or any account form or any search form. You really want to check that, you can simply do it and then perform your perfect data driven test over here. So you can just simply do one thing. I'll just do one thing. This particular test suite I'll share with you guys. You can have a look, and I'll share with this URL I'll share with everyone. So you just, when you go to this particular URL, you can see the test cases that I have written that you can refer, and you can create your own script. If you have any issues, please feel free to write in the comment section. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to the channel. Start using this testRigor. This is amazing tool. You can propose the same thing to your team also, to the management also, to use this particular tool. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care and God bless you all.